In this lesson, we're going to learn about the mirror node. So here we are inside of NUKE, and I've just opened up the mirror.nk NUKE script. So the mirror node is found under the transform menu in mirror. So it has a single pipe input and, of course, an output. And there's only really two properties we have to worry about, horizontal and vertical. So let's now take a look at what mirror does. So I've got my one viewer piped into the left tree and my right viewer piped into the two tree. And this is just to take a look at what mirror does as well as what the transform can do to mimic the mirror. Alright, so with mirror 1 selected, let's now click horizontal, and that simply flips the image in the horizontal axis. So let's uncheck that. Vertical flips it in the vertical axis. Now, as you can see, both of these are very simple transforms. So we could simply use the transform to do these as well. And these would tie together with a scale. So let's go into our transform and hit the 2 key. And a -1 scale would be a horizontal mirror. You can see here that they're the same. And a -1 in the height would be a vertical scale, or a vertical mirror. Now, to do both the horizontal and the vertical, you can just do a rotate of 180. Now, of course, you can type these into the transform and they'll work just fine. However, if you know you just need a very quick mirror, I would use the mirror node to do that because it requires very little processing power to do these kinds of operations. And so therefore, it's very fast. Now, of course, on a smaller image, the difference between a transform node and the mirror node is going to be very small or almost imperceivable. But, of course, if you don't want to add in a transform node, which of course can do anything, and want to make it very clear to either yourself in the future or other artists, I would use the mirror node. Now, there's one more strength of the mirror node that let's quickly take a look at. So I'm going to hit 3 to look at the mirror input and 4 to look at the transform input. And you'll notice our bounding box is changing. So with the mirror, you'll notice that no matter what we do, our bounding box stays exactly the same as our source. Now this could be a strength depending on what you need to do. As you can see here, no matter what combination of properties we turn on, the mirror bounding box will stay exactly the same. However, in the transform node, by default, black outside is turned on, and so our bounding box will change. However, you'll notice even if we turn black outside off, our transform node still slightly changes our bounding box. Now again, that may or may not be a concern, depending on how your setup is. Now this also might be actually a weakness because the transform node has black outside automatically turned on and the mirror does not. So depending on how you use the mirror, you may need to add a black outside node after the mirror to, of course, remove the issues that this checkbox does. If you'd like to learn more about black outside, we have a node reference library lesson about that node and that setting. So in this lesson, we learned how we could use the mirror node to flip our images either horizontally or vertically, and how we could use it together with both the horizontal and the vertical to rotate our image 180 degrees. So again, use this node if you know you're just going to need a very quick mirror. Now, one last thing, you can also key these on and off, but of course there will be no interpolation. So as we move between frames, you'll notice that it just quickly goes from horizontally mirrored to not horizontally mirrored. So keep that in mind. You can animate this, however, there will be no interpolation per frame.